He's ready.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, howdy, Gino.
What's up, man? It's been a little bit.
No, it hadn't. It feels like yesterday.
Feels like yesterday.
That's right.
We have a lot to talk about.
Oh my God, this may actually be a twofer, because I noticed I saw your list, and your list was like 18 pages long, and
Yeah.
mine's very similar. So yeah. Oh, I forgot. Hey, we are unranked and unhinged. Glad you guys are with us.
We're back, baby.
We never left.
All right, man. Guys, welcome back to Unranked and Unhinged, the only podcast powered by swing thoughts, bad decisions, and products that absolutely look way better at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, good Lord.
We're talking about gimmicks.
Yeah, today we're talking about gimmicky things.
It's the gadgets, the miracle cures, the training aids,
Yep.
the stuff that promise you extra
Extra
30
everything.
yards, extra fish,
bigger bites. And
Yeah. The only thing that it doesn't help is your wallet. It makes it lighter.
Oh gosh, yeah. And you know, I was thinking seriously about the difference in what your stuff does and what my stuff does. And I guess the great thing about like fishing gimmicks is there's really no rules to break.
Right.
You know, whereas as golf, I mean, you can get some gimmicky club and it doesn't conform to USGA standards.
Exactly.
So,
Well, I mean, they're not going to argue with you having 10 or 12 fishing poles on the boat versus, we have to have 14 limit
I
clubs.
know, exactly. So, yeah, I'm more wide open as far as being able to exploit the fisherman as a marketeer.
Well, I think I'll say this about golfers, and you can kind of piggyback if you want to. I feel like amateur golfers are kind of the easiest people to target when it comes, to market when you're trying to find gimmicks and gadgets, and because everybody they want that extra yardage, they want to stop the slicing.
Yeah.
They just want to find ways to be better.
Yeah, I think at that point too, they haven't realized that skill is a big part of the golf game. Where,
Absolutely.
They're like, okay, I can take this shortcut and I can take this shortcut, and boy, if I just had this club, it would, then I'd never hit it fat again.
Never fat again. No chunkies.
So, yeah, and fishing's, similar. I mean, all it takes is to have some guy on TV pulling in some huge bass, and they all seem to have the same thing. They all have this underwater footage, and I love the way they say actual underwater footage, not horse crap underwater footage. Like you've got to be reminded of it. But as seen on TV, I think has been more of a bane to fishing than it has to golf.
Right.
So what are some of your stuff?
So I'm going to ask you this, and it's going to be kind of for both of us.
Okay.
One of my questions is why golfers and fishermen fall for these gimmicks. I feel like from my point of view, golf is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
And people will literally try anything, not to get the edge, but just to kind of find out how to help them get over the hump. Over the the yips and the slices, and and a lot of times people don't realize every gimmick sells hope, but sometimes hope disguises itself as technology.
Yeah, and two, back to what you said, I think sometimes all it takes is if they can attach a gimmick to something that is true. So like if a golf professional or a golf somebody says, okay, it's best if your wrist is in this position. Right. Well, there's 15 different entrepreneurs that go, ooh, I can make something that will hold the wrist in that position. And, and it's great if you think about it, but, it doesn't, it gets very warm.
I do. I'm a little pudgy.
Oh, he is not. He's just hot-natured. Yeah. That's why he wears shorts when it's 35 degrees outside.
That's a gimmick.
That's a gimmick. Yeah, somebody told him, if your legs are cool, you'll hit better.
You'll stop the slicing.
And then all of a sudden there was a commercial for shorts on, and Gene's like, That's it.
It's usually that guy doing an infomercial, 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like when he's hitting the ball, he just stripes it right down the middle every time.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, I gotta have that.
I got to have that thing.
So yeah. So you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead and fire it up
so
because
I also want-
mine will go pretty quick.
I want people, when people realize, this again, as it always is, this is our opinions.
And that's
That's
all
what
that
matters.
matters.
So we're doing this for fun and for jokes, and if you don't like it, so be it.
Yeah, it's leave a comment if you don't like it.
Yeah. So I did 4, and I kind of did 2 and 2, meaning 2 is like what gimmicks are kind of like way out there.
I'm sorry, I was just looking and I did 25.
Yeah. Well, I did small a number because I knew we had a lot to talk about tonight,
Okay.
and we have
And
we have a
to drink beer, too.
special beer review. So
Ooh,
stay
nice.
tuned for this. I don't know if you can see my hat, if you can.
We'll do a close up of the
Yeah.
hat in a little bit too.
But one of mine is I'm not sure. Do you remember the chippers? It's little like a chipper club. It's around the green.
Oh, I have one. I have a couple.
Yeah. So that's I feel like.
And you know what? This is terrible. But I just saw an information a thing on YouTube the other day for another one, and I'm thinking, I want to get that. And it is. It's a stinking chipper. All it is, and
Yeah.
it looks like a stinking wood.
It's for people that are terrified of wedges around the green.
Oh, yeah.
Because you basically do it as like a putter stroke.
Yeah,
You know-
exactly.
you know,
And that's exactly what this info
Yeah.
thing said. You just do it like a putter stroke. And
That-
you aim it the same way. You make the same stance.
Well, this thing it kind of lessens the skulls across the green, the chili dips around the green, and it really lessens the bogey from turning into a snowman. If anybody don't know what a snowman is, that's an 8.
Oh, I've had those.
Yeah, so
What happened? What is it when it's after the snowman?
get lessons.
I love it. I love it.
So that's kind of like it's not necessarily a gimmick, but it's
Oh, it is.
It
is a gimmick.
I guess
yeah.
it could be, but I feel like it is for people that are terrified of greens, and we know somebody that was absolutely terrified when he can hit the ball off the tee.
Yep.
He can get to the green, and like all confidence just left. But one of the things. So, but really, what is more embarrassing? Is it using a chipper or chunking 3 wedges in front of strangers? So I mean,
Yeah, I guess so. But and then again, it's back to the gimmick gives us guys like me
gives us hope.
a little bit of hope.
Yes.
Because it's based on something that is actual, and it's because like I said, I am ready to pull the trigger on this thing.
I'd love for you to do it. Well,
And here's the thing, you know who makes it?
I don't.
Odyssey.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, and guess how much it is?
Probably 2 installment payments of $19.99.
I'll keep going. It's $125 for this thing. So, I mean, Odyssey has, and for you golfers, you all know that's a big brand. And
It
I
is,
mean,
yeah,
so for them to actually step into the as seen on TV world is, I guarantee you they'll sell a ton of these things.
Yeah. Well, the chipper, it removes, as we said earlier, it removes a lot of the wrist action.
Yeah.
And it turns the shot more to the putting stroke. And nobody cares how the ball got there, how close it got by what club.
Yeah.
Until your buddies start rushing you in the parking lot.
Well, remember, and you told me the Gene played in a tournament not long ago, and the conditions were really hard. And one thing I noticed was everything was mowed so tight. And you said that there was one guy that basically just used his putter.
Yeah, he used
instead of a wedge.
Yeah, this guy was, 50 yards off the green, which is fine. But the problem that he had, you had to hit it hard enough to get to the green, but he couldn't. Wouldn't stop. So
Yeah.
it's kind of rolled past it. But but with that said, honestly, if the chipper helps you enjoy the game more, shoot lower scores, use it.
Yeah.
The game is already hard enough.
And so that is one of the things that wouldn't be illegal, right?
I don't think so. No, I mean,
Okay.
mm-mm.
All right. Well, that's cool. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm going to, since I have 25 of these things, I'm going to lump my first three in together because I actually think they were marketed and made by the exact same people because their ads look the same. You know, it's just this repetitive thing. And you all may have heard of these. And that is the banjo minnow, the flying lure, and the helicopter lure. And I've actually got some pictures of this. And these were the epitome of as seen on TV. And, you know, they would do the same thing. They would get somebody, you know, and maybe I'll do some actual digitals of these, and Gene can pop them up there because, yeah, they're really good. And some of the, you know, they all, like, it's amazing, you know, $19.99 and you get 110 pieces. And there's just crazy looking stuff, but and the claims that they have is, you know, hey, you can't knock Babe Winkleman. If I was going to have a spokesman, yeah, had to be Babe.
Yeah.
And, you know, Babe says that he guarantees you'll catch fish with it.
Oh.
Yeah, guarantees.
Well, no one. I don't know a lot about fishing lures. It's kind of like if you see that the same way as golf. You know, if it's going to make me better, if it's going to make me catch more fish,
yeah,
I'm going to try it.
yeah. And, you know, like there was this. Sorry, I'm licking my finger. They all had this one like gimmicky thing. This one even glowed in the dark. And this said that it was like a genetic response, and it would make fish, you know, bite even if they weren't hungry. Which, come on now, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's another banjo, and I've got to get the ones out here. I should have had.
Well,
this.
I think,
Helicopter lure, and see, that had Roland Martin, and of course he's holding up a giant bass. And I got to show you the helicopter lure always worried me because to me, and here's the flying lure. The flying lure did this thing; it went backwards. But I'm going to show. I'm not going to show you all this just yet, but I'm going to show Gene this. Would you fish with something that looked like that?
Yeah.
And that is the actual
not unless it.
helicopter lure. Okay, here's the picture, guys. This is a picture of the helicopter lure. And this was an as seen on TV. And apparently, it, like, when it fell, it would. See, look, I got sound effects.
Nice.
Okay,
Without
so-
even pushing a button.
Without pushing the button. Okay, so
Well,
there's my first
I can
three.
see that because somebody wants to get into the fishing lure business. Yeah, I can see that people that wants to get into the fishing lure business. They'll try something. They may have caught one fish on some bait they made,
Yeah.
and then they're like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's guaranteed to catch a fish.
Well, and like I said, the actual underwater footage, they
Yeah.
probably had some poor old bass and they starved him in a tank, but it's
Yeah.
still underwater, and technically, it's underwater.
Yeah.
And the claims, I mean, who can dispute a claim? Like, this says the #1 best-selling lure of all time. Well, really?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to believe.
Right.
But, how do you dispute that? And, so, catches the biggest, hits, bites, and catches the biggest fish guaranteed. Well, how do you know? How do you even follow up with that? So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
my
and
gimmicky
that's-
as seen on TV.
Yeah.
lures.
So I'll jump into my second one, and you may actually have one of these.
I probably do.
It's the anti-slice tee. It's
Is that the thing that had the big cup
Yes.
on the back?
yes. So it's
used one of those. Yes.
anti-slice tee is one of golf's greatest confidence schemes, or I like to call them tiny plastic hope peg.
Plastic hope pegs.
Yeah.
I love it.
So and the thing that they claim is they reduce the spin. When you hit the ball, straighter drives reduces the slice, and it's more forgiving. But again, if someone is struggling playing at golf and they're maybe just learning, being amateurs, and they see this like, oh man, this thing will, even if it helps just a little bit, it can help me for my slice. But and again, you'll see, I'll say the honest take. For beginners, uh, anything that builds confidence can help. So sometimes it's a placebo.
Yeah, I guess I mean because you couldn't market something knowing that once somebody bought it, they'd never buy it again.
Exactly.
So, like you said, it has to have some sort of, even if it was a placebo effect, some effect.
It's some kind of and we all know that golf is a lot of mental aspect of the game. So if it helps, if confidence alone can improve your swings, use it. But I feel like that's a gimmick to me.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You don't see, like I say, it's probably a gimmick just to kind of get your confidence.
So, but there again, it's a gimmick based on a little bit of truth, and that is that
exactly.
I guess by having that big chunk of plastic behind there, there's not as much spin on the ball.
Hope peg.
Hope peg. Yeah, the big plastic hope peg. But I can't think of any other reason why that wouldn't cause you to slice.
Yeah, I mean, it's it says less friction, but still, come on, guys. It's still.
I've even heard talking about the friction. Isn't there like something where people put Vaseline on the face of their clubs?
Yeah, and that is illegal, and it's supposed to kind of like let the ball slide off of the club face where it can't spin.
Oh.
Yeah. So with that said, with anti-slice, if your driver swing looks like you're fighting bees, this probably not going to help you. So.
I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
But that's I've seen these. I've seen people use them. I joked with you about you having one. I think you actually had the one I had.
Oh, I've had all kinds. I've had ones that had brushes on them.
Didn't that say like adds 4 yards?
Yeah, adds 4 yards.
So we can kind of put this in the same category.
Yeah, I had those. It didn't matter if it looked like something that would help my game. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Like people. I mean, if you can just get in your head and get confidence of something that's going to help you, use it. It's not that these are not that expensive, but it's not a long-term use. But
yeah, I guess and the thing is, if somebody buys it 2 or 3 times, then they've made their money back. But sometimes I wonder about the advertising for the advertising cost alone. How in the world do they recoup?
Well, just think. If we had a product and we sold one to every person in the United States, just one, or if we sold one to every amateur up and coming golfer, we'll say that. And that probably
that would still be, because you think about it, how much were these things? I mean, it was like $9 or $10.
Exactly.
Whereas you can get a whole 100 tees.
Well, I think that's what people they kind of rely on. Like, if people see this, like, well, I'm only going to be out. If it doesn't work, I'm only going to be out $8, $9, $10.
Right.
Well, to you, that's fine, but to them, like, ching,
they've got my money already. They don't care. And the thing, I'm thinking about how many times that I've chased a tee. That's a freaking $9 tee. I'm gonna go, and I'm down in the bushes looking for it, and I'm asking hey, did y'all see where my tee went?
Yeah. Well, just think if you hadn't used that, you couldn't have hit that 4 hybrid over sycamore.
4 hybrid over the sycamore, man.
It wouldn't have cleared
it.
But yeah, honestly though, if it gives you the confidence, use it. But like I say, it's not a long-term deal.
Oh, and talking about tees, I remember those tees that. To me, I don't think this is really a gimmick, but. Sort of, but they had that little collar on them so that you could set the collar and it would always, that way your tee was always exactly the same height every time.
Yeah.
And, all it takes is somebody, who golfs to say, yes, your tee should, every shot should be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that little collar, that little plastic thing on there is going to help my game. It's going to add 4 yards.
Yeah, add 4 yards. Well, I agree with you. If you need to use that gimmick to understand how far the tee needs to go on the ground or above the ground for your ball to sit, that's fine. Like I say, again, it's not a long-term use. It's just something to help you kind of get used to putting in the ground.
You know, because, and I will have to say, there are times when I have gotten up there and got ready to swing and thought, I think my ball's not teed up as high as I normally
Exactly.
have it,
Yeah.
or it's teed too low, or something like that. So yeah, I can imagine that would be it would take one thing off your mind to think about.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, fishing lures and stuff. You know, a fishing lure can be great and fantastic, but until they make a fishing lure that can whistle at fish and go, come here, do something like that. You know, you're basically, you have to find the fish
Exactly. Yeah.
before, and you can throw whatever lure you want on them. And sometimes it doesn't matter what the lure looks like or what it does. It's going to initiate a response from a fish because fish are predators, or the fish may be protecting a nest. So yeah, I mean, as we make fun of these things, and I'm going to show it one more time just because I think it's hilarious. But yeah, you may be able to drop that down on a fish's nest, and a fish just knock the crap out of it. So
Well, I think sitting here to listen to you talk, that thing whirligigs,
yeah, it's like a little helicopter.
going down. So
Sound effects.
Yeah.
Do the finger and I'll
Got it.
see.
But I see, maybe that when that's going down in the water, it's getting the attention of the fish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like, is it? We don't know, possibly.
Yeah, and
So-
back to does that look like a fish? No.
No.
But I have fished with bubblegum pink worms before. And I know there's never been a bubblegum pink worm in nature. So, at some point, I think, the fish, maybe we just catch stupid fish. Like we could be fishing, what was it Bill Engvall said? We could be fishing with a corn dog.
Yeah, like dorkfish.
Dorkfish. We're catching dorkfish.
I like corn dogs.
I like corn dogs. Yeah, and so here's the mighty bite. That one, all they did was they took the banjo minnow and took a bite out of it and painted it red. I'm serious. See, it's got the little bite, and apparently because I guess if one fish sees that another fish has bitten it, he wants to bite it, which
Must be
to me
good.
doesn't make any sense, because to me, if you were a fish and you were smart enough to know that, you would go, well, he didn't like it. I don't think I'll like it either.
Yeah,
Maybe it tastes bad.
Yeah, that thing's still
Yeah.
alive. I'm not eating it.
Yep. So yeah, fishing, you always will try. I mean, whether or not it's a gimmick or not.
I will say the cool thing about the difference between golf and fishing, like being out there or fishing on the lake, if you feel like, well, this lure's not working or this bait's not working, you have the option to change
it
whatever
out. Yeah.
color you want, whatever type you have. The weather may be needing something different.
Yeah.
We can't, if I go and play nines, like, dang, I didn't like that first time. Let me go get my other set of clubs in the car.
Yeah. Well, and in fishing, it's only a gimmick until it starts working.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
'cause do you think that the first guy who had a bubblegum pink worm out there, everybody was like, that guy's an idiot? No, and you think about that as sometimes I know for a fact that there are gimmicky things that through the years have taken hold because well, it was a gimmicky thing, but then it actually worked.
It just works, yeah.
And so you stick with it, and then it's no longer a gimmick.
Right. That's a great comment, man. That's maybe everything starts out as a gimmick.
Just a little. Can you think about a gimmicky? I mean, think about this, and I'm not 100% sure, but in golf, I know you do something that just kind of blows my mind, and that is your wedges.
Uh-huh.
I can't. I mean, 50 years ago, do you think they had 4 wedges in the bag?
No, I don't think so.
I think that the first person that came out there and said, I'm going to have a wedge for every 5 yards, they were like, what?
Yeah.
That's stupid gimmicky stuff. And then next thing you know, it's actually working.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes back to one of our episodes we were talking about technology, how far it has advanced, you know,
Yep.
and somebody tried it
Yeah.
and it worked, so everybody hopped on board, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I do carry 4 wedges, you know, because I think in one of the episodes I talked about probably most of your shots is going to be from 130, 140 in. You know, depends on
5-iron for me.
yeah, depending on the course and the length. But you know, that's where your scoring is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, if I have a club that has 100 yards and I need a club that's, you know, somewhere that I can hit 80, 85, but I can also pull it back and hit 65. So
See, that's control that just blows my mind. I'm impressed.
yeah, I started doing that a few years ago, and there's so many different types of wedges. I mean, it depends on what brand you want, and there's so many different. And maybe we need to kind of revisit some of these clubs and some fishing poles. You know, about the technology, how far it's advanced. But
Yeah.
you know, that like I play Vokies, you know, Titleist Vokies,
Mm-hmm.
and there's different depends on what type of swing you have.
Yep.
Are you a steep? Are you a sweeper? You know, depends on if you look at the bottom of the club, there's a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
You know that like you know. Restrict, you know, doesn't allow it to bounce, you know.
Yep.
So,
Well, and I know that one of those wedges, and it may be Titleist, that they specifically allow their club to rust, or they put something in it so that the whole entire face just rusts.
yeah, there's.
Now, I don't remember seeing it lately, but I remember
I think maybe a couple of brands, but I think Titleist does have one. You know, I don't know if this is going to be the right. It could be. It does have the word rust in that name, or you know, of that club, like I don't know, rust something. But yeah, they do, and it's just more of a look. You know, what's it look? What looks good to you? What is the appeal you have when you're looking at the ball? You know, if it doesn't look good or you don't feel confident with it, you need to get something different.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know, I'm impressed with the amount of technology that has changed the game of golf. I guess for fishing, the technology that has changed fishing is electronics.
right.
You know, basically, a person could take a rod and reel from, 50 years ago and still go out and do well catching fish. We could take, lures and hooks and, worms from 50, 75 years ago and still be productive on the lake.
Sure.
Whereas, you wouldn't be able to do that with a 75-year-old set of golf clubs and a ball.
I was actually going to say that. You know, there was a video I watched of someone taking a, 75-year-old club and trying to hit it, and it really couldn't. The ball would not fly like with his new 21st century clubs.
Yeah.
So it just shows you, how forgiving maybe the metal and the material that's used in these clubs.
Yeah.
That allows you to do what you do. But yeah, that's tough. Hitting those old clubs, man.
Well, and the thing that I wonder sometimes is, and I hope we're not getting off of the gimmick thing here, but you've had all these technological advances with clubs. The golf courses are still the same.
Yeah.
If in anything else, the golf courses are better maintained.
Better maintained.
Better, the greens are more consistently kept.
Yep.
So
it takes all the questioning out of it, as far as the greens. Because like, if you go back and watch any tournaments from the 80s, you'll see that the greens just look, I don't know, maybe a little more fuzzy. Maybe, I don't know if it was the type of grass or maybe they just didn't mow it as short.
Yeah.
That's brings up a good point. When did this Bermuda, what they have now, come into play? I may have to look that one up.
Well, and back to the gimmicks and the greens and things, there's all these little, now your clubs have all these alignment lines on them. Before you had like a little doorstop stuck on the end of a stick.
Yeah.
And now, there's these wings and lines and all this stuff. And then, like Odyssey's got the balls back there. So that it looks like you're lining up 3 balls in a row. So, but that stuck.
I was going to say, again, that started out as a gimmick. And it depends on how people look at it when you're down there putting, looking at the putter. Yep. And if you need 1 line or if you need 3 lines, what gets you to that next level.
And think about the long putters.
Yeah.
That was the first, and that kind of peaked and then kind of went away.
Right.
So, not all gimmicks stick.
Right.
So,
Which is, it's weird because these you swing a club, but you got these guys using a long putter to help save their back. I think
okay.
I think that's what it's for. But they actually changed the USGA rule to where you can't anchor it
Gotcha.
to your chest.
Oh, you really can't even anchor it anymore.
You cannot anchor it to your chest.
See, I wonder sometimes
that was an advantage.
if they're going to have to start making rules to make it, because the technology and skill has gotten to the point that it's surpassing the technology
Yeah.
and the ability of the course to maintain that golfer.
Well, I think if you look at the equipment and technology in the 80s or even 70s, it kind of stuck the same for 20 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, probably I'm going to go out there on a limb saying that somewhere in the 90s, technology started to change, but the rules were still the same from the 70s and 80s.
Exactly.
So they had to get with the times and change these because the golfers were getting stronger and the balls were changing.
Balls were
what
changing,
what is that one advantage? What is that I can get?
Yeah.
Whether it's a stand up putter, the type of golf ball, whatever.
Well, in fishing, there was that, back in the 80s, all of a sudden everything was about technology. We didn't have the, sonar and everything electronics, but so they tried to use electronics in the lure itself. And so they started making lures that did weird things. Like you would take this thing and you would plug it in and it would twitch. And it actually came with a USB cable, which I thought was hilarious. There was another one that had laser eyes. And, it was, I don't know, maybe a big fish wanted to eat something that had laser eyes. I don't have a clue.
Well, maybe the fish was afraid. It's kind of like the evil fish.
The evil eye fish.
Yes.
See, now that's what they should have called it. That would have made more sense to me. Instead of laser eye fish,
Yeah,
if they would
evil
have
eye.
called it, this lure will catch fish because it gives them the stink eye. And fish can't stand that.
That's funny. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go on to my third one, and this one here, this one here, I think is one of the few golf training aids I think that actually makes sense.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've seen these are putting mirrors. You just lay this mirror down, and it helps with your eye alignment, your shoulder alignment, and it just kind of helps you set up your consistency.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a training aid, not something you can play with?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. It's a training aid that you practice with, and it really kind of helps you with the stroke path, and and the face control. Just because just think about it. Do you if you go and do you see anybody videotaping while they're putting? No, most time they're videotaping,
Videotaping
hitting
their
irons
swing and all that,
exactly. So this one kind of helps you, like I said, just get that visual what your eye alignment is, and your shoulders, But
Okay. Well, I can see that. So where do you put it?
you just put it down there at the ball where you can look down at it when you're putting.
So you're looking at is it angled or something? Or are you looking at yourself? You're looking at the hole?
You're looking at yourself it's just basically put a mirror at your feet.
Oh, okay.
And then you can see where your eye. There's all these lines on it, and you can see like where your eyes alignment is and how your shoulders are, and so unlike some golf gimmicks, I think the mirrors, I think they genuinely help. Especially for golfers that have poor alignment. The aim is off, stand too far away, or maybe they have the open or closed face.
Yeah.
So that's what that kind of is. Maybe it's, and again, we're talking about gimmicks. This is something that kind of stuck, and it's like, oh wow, I can actually see my shoulders are actually turned. My head's one way, but my shoulders may be turned the other way when I'm not lining up correctly.
That makes
in
sense.
putting.
Now it would be also cool, and seeing here, I'm gonna come up with a new gimmick.
Oh, nice.
It would be nice if there was a mirror at the back that was kind of angled, so that when you looked at it, you could look across your ball and see the flagstick. So you would see really exactly the line you were looking
Yeah.
at.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. I think we can.
It's a gimmick that's going to stick.
I know it's good. It's going to stick. And the reason I keep showing this is because I want them to show it enough that Gene can't edit all of them out. Okay, so here's a. No, give me that back. Here's a gimmicky thing that somebody came up with this idea, and we even talked something about this at one point where I was talking about I had some guys that I knew that were throwing just buckets full of water. They've got this thing now called a thumper. And when I saw it, I thought it was something that you killed fish with. You know, like you got him up and it's
Like
like,
whack-a-mole?
I want to keep him. Thump, and you hit him in the head. No, this thing you actually hit either the water or the bottom of your boat. It's a stick, and but now, of course, then I guess you could have just knocked on the boat with your fingers, but somebody decided to capitalize on this gimmicky thing, and so now you can actually buy them. You can buy a stick
Again,
to hit the bottom of your boat with.
again, goes back one person, you buy one time.
Yep.
You sell millions.
That's right. And the thing is, you know, if one guy catches fish and there's a guy with him, well, then he's going to have a thumper too.
Yeah.
And then it's just, next thing you know, it's the long putter craze of
right.
fishing.
Well, you see a guy thump his boat, and then the next 10 or 15 minutes he catches a fish.
Catches a fish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that
And
fish.
maybe it was just one of those dumb fish.
That's
They were
right.
just, you know, he's coming up to see, hey, what's that thumping
Hey,
noise?
what's that thumping noise? I don't get it. So
Yeah.
but you know, there again, there's things that stick. You know, I remember the first time I saw what they call an umbrella rig, which is they use them down south, and they're these things that have multiple lures sticking out on them, and it looks like a chandelier.
So the fish doesn't get wet.
So that exactly, yeah. So it doesn't go in. But yeah, some of these things are this big around,
Yeah.
you know, and they've got, you know, 8 lures, and they take these monstrous rods and reels to actually work them, because, you know, you've got to have like 30-pound test line, and but they catch fish with them. And not only that, but they've stuck around, and people still throw umbrella rigs. They call them Alabama rigs.
Oh, okay. I've heard that one. I've not heard the umbrella. Yeah.
And it's the craziest looking thing. And I'll see if I can do a little digital. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You know, it makes it interesting when you and I went down to the Bassmasters Classic and went to the little show. How many vendors were there? You know, everybody was, and they're like, well, this one here does this, and it's guaranteed to catch fish.
Yeah.
And I can see it. Like I say, I don't know a lot about the lures and all that, but you do. And I remember one guy, I don't know.
Yeah, that got the back.
Yeah, and he was showing us. Well, that's a cool presentation. You know, if you were not there, you know, there's probably a 50-50 chance I would probably bought one.
Yeah. And, you know, of all the things, I think he was one of the few gimmicky guys that were there. Pretty much everybody else had, you know, standardized and I'm losing the word now that I can't think of, tried and true, you know, lures and maybe some unique colors. But but as far as a guy that was standing there that looked like he was doing an infomercial, that was the guy.
Yeah, he had a tank and had it in, you
and
know.
some guy was back there doing the thing.
And, you know, again, it's a gimmick now, but it may stick.
It may stick.
You know, this guy probably, you know, wanted to get into the business. He came up with this lure, he caught some fish, and was like, well, I think I'm on to something.
And you know, the weird part about that is if we really consider some of this stuff, like one of the most popular lures, or I guess you would call it a lure nowadays, is a thing called a Ned rig. And Ned rigs use, like somebody had chopped about the first 2 or 3 inches of a plastic worm off. And you can imagine a 3-inch long brown round chunk of a worm that's perfectly straight, looks like something.
Mm.
It looks so much like that the company that did this, Z-Man, called it exactly what it looked like. It's a turd,
Mm.
and it is. And so you go buy these turds to do Ned rigs
All right.
with. And can you imagine if you'd have gone on TV
Yeah.
as now the new craze, the turd, and people would have. I think nobody would have bought it. But the
No.
fact that it got out there somehow and started working, next thing you know, that's a huge portion of bass fishing now is Ned rigs.
Is that the one that just kind of goes on the bottom, just kind of stands?
Yep, stands straight
It's
up.
got the weight.
It's got that little weighted
Yeah,
head, and
yep.
it doesn't move. All these gimmicky things are talking about how it moves this way, it does
Yeah.
that. It's got all kinds of lifelike movement. Well, then this thing doesn't do anything. It just sits on the bottom and just kind of sways.
Yeah, that's right. With the I guess
Yeah,
with the
you don't do
water.
anything to it. You just let it sit there, and it
Yeah.
does its thing. Now, I'm sure that there is some techniques to, moving it and bouncing it around and putting it in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so neat to see that, a successful lure is just the opposite of what you would think would work.
Right.
Let something. And, I wondered, how do you come up with that gimmick? I don't think that these marketing people could even have done it. I think what happened was you probably had some little, 7-year-old kid that was fishing with his dad, and he was just screwing around, and had cut a worm into it and said, "Hey, Dad, look what I'm going to do," and he put it on a fly head, and he just threw it out. And then started playing on his Game Boy or PS1 or whatever it is
Yeah.
kids play with now. And the next thing you know, it takes off. Well, then Dad's like, "Man, did that actually catch a fish?"
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's just crazy things like that. There are so many more that
Yeah, we can do another.
we could do we could do 2 more podcasts on stupid games.
Yeah, and we may do that because like I said, when I was going through this, what I wanted to mention tonight, between mine and what you had, and then our beer review, I knew we was going to have enough to talk about.
Well, you worried me when you said you had 5, and I was thinking, God, I've got 25.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But here's my last one, and then you can go as long as you want to. But my last one is, this is crazy.
Okay.
It's the balance bracelets. Have you seen the balance bracelets?
No.
It's it's golfers wear these balance bracelets like they were unlocking hidden athletic abilities. It promises like better balance, more flexibility, and increased strength.
And it's just a bracelet.
It's just a bracelet, it's magnetic.
Oh, the magnetic-y stuff.
Yes.
Like the copper infused.
Exactly.
I remember.
This one is like a magnetic. It was so weird. This sales guy was always involved in this guy pushing someone's arm. If you got this bracelet on,
he tries to push you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like puts you in this weird posture test. Some kind of dramatic reaction. Just some kind of like it.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. So actually, did it actually work scientifically? Not really.
Probably not.
Did it confidence placebo? Absolutely.
Yeah, could have easily.
And honestly, golf runs heavily on placebo fuel.
Yeah.
So, and that goes back to like talking the mental part of it. If it gives you confidence because you have a magnetic bracelet on,
Yep.
so what? Does it work? No, but it might work in your mental state.
It might work in your head.
So that's, if it gives you more confidence, if it relaxes you, more relaxed,
Yep.
and just less tense, it'll probably help a little mentally. So that's where I'm at on that balance bracelet. I've seen these videos. They put them on like this is going to. You can't knock me off my balance. And you're like,
I am perfect.
Really?
I'm
So-
one with the ground.
yeah. So, but yeah, I've seen those, and that's kind of like that's my 4. And I would love for us. I think we need to do another one sometime because this is pretty good.
Well, the last one that I want to talk about is something probably everyone has heard of, and it is the Ron Popeil pocket fisherman. Now, here's the thing about that. Yes, it's a gimmick, but in my mind, it was a gimmick that did something really cool, and that was it made fishing very easy. Because it was a tackle box, it was your rod, it was your reel, it was everything in this little thing. And if you've not seen one, you're nowhere near as old as I am. But they used to be on every Saturday, and kids loved these things, because it folded up. And then when you got to where you were fishing, you just unflipped this thing. You opened this little thing on the back. You could take out your little hook and your bobber, and you could put it all together. And then it was super short. The rod, it was a unique design so that it was like these two rods that flexed independent of each other, which actually worked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like having a 7-foot, carbon fiber rod or anything, but you could cast it. And it was easy to cast, and it was easy to reel.
So was it one of them gimmicks that kind of stuck?
It was a gimmick that I think wasn't made to make you a great fisherman. It was a gimmick which got more people fishing that probably wouldn't have, like kids and,
I tell you, the one thing that I could see this tailored to is hikers.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It was called a pocket fisherman.
Yeah, because if you were a hiker, in this area we have several trails.
Yeah.
Rivers and lakes and all that.
Yep.
But if you were hiking and you got your backpack and your walking stick,
and it was about the same size as this.
Yeah.
And everything was there.
Yeah.
It had your everything you needed to fish.
That's pretty cool little gadget.
Yeah, and the other one that goes along with that was rocket fish. And this was a little newer. You may have actually seen this watching cartoons on the morning.
Okay.
But it was specifically made for kids, and it looked like one of these big super soaker guns. But it was a fishing pole. And so what you would do is they had these little capsules that looked like little rockets, and you would put your bait in and your hook and everything in these little capsules, and you would load this thing and launch it down, and you would just point it out into the water and go
nice.
And it would shoot this thing out. Well, the way that this thing designed was when it hit the water, it opened up, and your lure or your bait dropped out with the hook, and then that acted as a bobber, as a float.
Oh.
And then it wasn't much of a rod. I mean, this thing was, probably 3 feet long, but your reel was built into it. And so then you just fished with this big bazooka looking thing, but kids loved it.
Well, yeah, because it looked like a super soaker. And
yeah. And you think about how hard it was to cast as a little kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, especially if you weren't athletically inclined. Sometimes it was hard, but the fact that you could just cock that thing and
I don't remember that as a kid. I have seen those, but you're 100% right. As a kid, I remember a few times Dad having to cast, out for me, fishing in a little riverbank or something.
But yeah, those two were things that I think specifically, yes, they were very gimmicky, but they weren't gimmicky in a way to try to make you a super duper fisherman.
Yeah.
They were a way to get kids
kids.
get anybody out fishing, and I love that. I
Well,
thought that was a great thing.
If you can get these kids out shooting this little super soaker, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And but as they got older, obviously they're probably not going to use it, but they started fishing with it.
That's what they started.
And
it got them interested.
Exactly.
I mean, you think about it. Think about if there was something gimmicky, golf related, that really made golf easy for kids. I mean, made it easy as putt-putt.
Right.
But there's not. There's just so much distance, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, I think because here's one thing with that super soaker you're talking about. It kind of made me think about the automatic driver. that has those little 22s in it.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
But you're right. Like once you get off the tee, then what? Well,
Right.
then you've got to go actually swing.
Yeah.
And it's a gimmick. That thing is a fun gimmick for a party out in the field or whatever, and you just want to.
Yes. Well, but I mean, you think about if it was a dad and a son, and how hard it would be for the son to feel like he was part of, if he's hitting the ball, 20 feet. But imagine if there was a CO2 powered launcher,
Yeah.
and dad gets up and dad tees off, and then the son gets to shoot his ball, in the direction. And then, so maybe he shoots the first 2 or 3 shots, but then he's down close enough to the green that he can use a wedge and a putter.
That's not far off because, I mean, if he can get down, 30, 40 yards, he can use a wedge and a putter.
Yeah.
At least that's getting his confidence like, hey, this is fun.
Yeah.
And as it gets
because he
older,
wouldn't have to just be riding the cart waiting for dad to hit his first 4 shots to
Yeah.
get to the green,
Yeah.
to where he could
Exactly.
get and play.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave this on the golf side. Some of the training aids that I think absolutely work are alignment sticks. You got the impact tape that you can put on the club to see where you're hitting it.
That.
There's tempo trainers, to kind of give you that tempo of your swing, and launch monitors. Now you don't have to have a launch monitor, but now that's kind of the aids that I feel like work.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and that is, and I think that if we probably did some research, we could find what we consider tried and true things now that in both sports that started out as gimmicks.
Well, the one thing that when we were talking about our episode this week, what we were going to do, I would love to ordered like some of these gimmicks that we talked about tonight,
Right.
and kind of a show and tell on our podcast.
Yeah.
But
Well, we'll get some stuff that you can.
because wouldn't it be cool if I had that anti-slice
Anti-slice
tee?
tee. Yeah.
So here's one. What gimmicks do we secretly want to invent?
I just told you, the little mirror thing,
Oh, okay. So
and the golf ball bazooka.
love it. So I did invent something.
Oh,
So
show me.
I talked about when we were talking about this. This is my little Brew Finder 3000.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah,
It's-
we're definitely going to have to do a digital of that, so it'll be like up there.
So this is a rangefinder
Here, I'm going to look at it while
with
you're.
with a beer koozie that keeps your beer cold. So how many times have you opened up a beer in the golf cart and put it in a cup holder? Well, it's going to get warm
Oh God, yes.
in the next 2 or 3 holes, right?
Right,
So this,
and then you suffer through it.
yeah, this thing will keep it cold, tells you the distance, but also this will connect to your golf glove by Bluetooth.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I'm interested now. Okay.
So this thing, this plays mood-based commentary. So
Oh, what?
yeah, so this thing,
Okay.
will, like, if you have a good shot, there's
I'm listening.
the crowd will cheer. So and the crowd cheer, it comes from the Brew Finder 3000. If you have a bad shot, a slow jazz trumpet plays. And if you have a lost ball, there's a distant eagle screech of disappointment. But yeah,
Oh, that is too funny.
so it tracks your swings and tells you the truth.
I want to buy one.
It'll tell you, hey, that was good contact. You absolutely tried to murder that ball. It tells you about your.
It's like a little coach.
Yes, like the grip pressure was too tight. It was too loose. I mean,
Yeah.
this Brew Finder 3000, find it.
Oh.
It'll be out.
I love it, and I've already got ideas for this. You remember there used to be a game, it was before your time again, but you used to be able to get this thing called a cuss pack on Redneck Rampage game,
Okay.
and it would allow it to cuss. So you could get a cuss pack for these, like
Exactly.
a little.
It's an add-on
It's
feature.
an add-on feature, It's like Yeah, you could just be rude
So
and
what-
crude, and that's awesome.
So what we do, we lock on distance and lock in cold.
Oh yeah, and see, you can even do the Bluetooth thing that told
Yeah.
you when you're drinking too much.
Exactly. It also tells you when
Or
your
when
beer's
you-
low.
Yeah, or when you've fallen down and can't get up.
Yeah.
Gene hasn't moved in the last 15 minutes. I need some help over here.
So, Brewfinder 3000.
Brewfinder 3000
It's
coming to a as seen on TV store near you.
It's a gimmick, but it might stick.
God, I love it. Oh, one more time.
There you go.
That's a gimmick that'll stick to you or in you.
Dude, I love it.
That is awesome, man.
So,
Hey,
yeah. You hear that?
I hear that.
Beer
review.
No hype, no script, just what we find. Two guys, one beer, two states of mind.
All right, guys, we are back.
We never left.
So tonight, we mentioned earlier that we have a special beer review. I met these guys a couple years ago in Sevierville at a beer competition, Bruce Street.
Bruce Street.
It
That's
was-
a cool name, too.
Yeah, that's actually one that I won with my Wicked Pickle.
I was going to tell you if you didn't. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm proud of
so,
Gino and his
yeah.
Wicked Pickle.
A Wicked Pickle, but
Pretty cool.
these guys, Dennis and Jed, it's called Tri Dog Brewing Company.
Yep. It's in Harriman, and apparently it's in a landmark general store, the Rocky Top General Store near the Emery River. But yeah, it's kind of odd because the city was founded as a dry town. So, it's,
Yeah.
it's got a great brewery in it now. Go figure.
Yeah, I know. And so Dennis and Jed, thank you guys for giving me some sample of this. We are going to be sampling the bourbon and cola seltzer.
Bourbon
And I will explain seltzer here in a minute once like I said, give a shout out to Dennis and Jed. They were co-founders and co-owners of the Tri Dog Brewing Company.
Yep. And they had help, right?
They did
Early on.
So this bourbon and cola was actually a group effort by Blood Stripe Brewing Company in Alcoa, Tennessee. They came up with this concoction. So between the Tri Dog and Blood Stripe, this is what they come with. But just to give a shout out to Dennis and Jeff for Tri Dog. They're like Bart said, they're in Harriman, Tennessee.
Yep.
It's a town known as the Temperist built.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. So
yeah.
I think Dennis is from South Carolina. They met in Knoxville. Working together on campus at the University of Tennessee.
Oh, that's cool.
They combined 50 years of hospitality business experience. Jed was a home brewer for 10 plus years. Attended Knoxville Brewing and Distilling Center to learn the fine-tuning and scaling of professional brewing.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. They had this dream, and they knew where they wanted to go to, and they went with it. I commend them for that.
Well, you were talking about Bruce Street. They this year or last year,
I think this year they
finished second.
Finished second,
which is really cool.
Which I feel like this was probably the best one there, but that's my opinion, and it definitely does matter because this is
It's all that matters.
it is phenomenal.
Well, they've been around since 2024,
Yep.
and not only do they have a brewery, but they got a big tap room, 20 some beers on tap. So go down, take a take a trip down to Harriman and go inside and tell them you heard it from here.
Yep. Tell them unranked and
Unranked
unhinged.
and unhinged since
Since you
you're
guys,
down there. And if you cause trouble, we'll deny it.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, they do comedy nights and live music and all kinds of stuff like that.
They do. It's like a lot of people do. They'll do singo and trivia.
I always get bad at that. I'm never any good at that.
But definitely, we are definitely going to be making a trip down there.
Yep.
I think we're going to go down and do a podcast at
We'll
their
do
place.
a cast. And plus, it's on a river. We'll go fishing.
It's on the river. We can do both of them at one time.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But yeah, we'll definitely want to go in, check them out. Try Dog Brewing Company. Check out them on Facebook. Give them a like. Tell them you heard it from us from Unranked and Unhinged.
Yay! Well, let's drink this thing.
So, but I want to tell you.
Tell us about
so
it, Gino. I'm dying
basically,
here.
a seltzer is basically carbonated water. It's made by artificially injecting carbon dioxide into a filtered tap water. There's no added minerals, no salts.
So no brewing.
There is brewing. No brewing. Most of it's made with cane sugar.
Okay. Well, a lot of people prefer that over anything else.
Yeah,
like corn syrup or whatever.
Exactly. And sometimes people will use malted barley, but I think it kind of trends away from the true seltzer. It's like a hard seltzer. Now, this is a hard seltzer because it's alcohol.
Okay, so I know that we always talk about that ABV and the IBUs.
Yeah.
How does that pertain to a seltzer?
No IBUs because there's no hops in it.
Okay.
Now, ABV, the alcohol by volume, I don't know 100% on this, but I want to say there goes a motorcycle.
If y'all can hear the background noise, it's we've opened all the doors and windows in our studio so that it was just a beautiful day. So
I'm going to guess. We'll taste it and kind of give you a feedback what we think the alcohol percentage is, but it could be
don't ask me.
It could be.
I'll be on my butt and not.
Matter of fact, I'm not going to say because I definitely don't get it wrong. But I've had it. Bart has not.
Yeah, this is my first time. I've been holding this thing. It's killing me. I
know,
want to
man.
drink it so bad
But
because it smells wonderful.
But I tell you, it's.
And you can smell the bourbon.
I can smell the bourbon.
Yeah.
It's bourbon and cola seltzer. It's a collaboration with Blood Stripe Brewing and Alcoa. Ready, man?
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Dude, I'm telling you, just as good now it was when I had it in Sevierville.
Pretty cool.
And it's not. It does not have that harsh.
No, it doesn't have the burn.
Bourbon burn.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they were going for. Was the cola really tones that down.
Now, to me, this is just me. It doesn't taste as much like when you say cola. To me, it's more of a. I don't want to throw brands out there, but my wife, she loves Coke. Soft drinks to me, I can take them or leave them, but to me, this has more of a Pepsi, almost RC Cola taste to it.
Well, I know, the one thing that, and Dennis and Jed, I wished I knew this. This could be in some cola that they've brewed.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because that you can, it's kind of like the root beer you can brew. They may have brewed this cola with a collaboration, but
yeah, that'd be neat because it's a unique cola taste.
Yeah,
and yeah. And then as it sits, after you let it kind of sit for a while, you get the bourbon aftertaste, but not the bourbon burn.
Exactly. Yeah, man. This
is really cool, though. I mean, do they sell this as a canned bottle, or is it just on tap? Or
well, I don't know if it was just a collaboration for this festival.
Oh,
or,
it may have been something special. We're sorry, you all don't get to participate in our wonderful stuff that we're drinking.
Check their website out and see what they have on tap. But this, for me, I'm not a big bourbon drinker, and it's maybe because, maybe it's too harsh. I don't know. But anyway, I'm drinking 2 for 1 here. This is like the
Do you know what this really tastes like? A couple more.
I know. I wish we had more. But
I hope that doesn't have alcohol in it. If it doesn't, I could this is my new go-to. Problem is, I don't know if I can get it anymore.
I know, man. Well,
Special. Oh, here.
oh yes.
Yeah, Try Dog hat. Look at that. That's cool.
Try Dog. Thank you guys for giving this to me to wear in the podcast. You know, we definitely are giving you guys a shout out.
Okay, can I have your hat?
Why?
Because I want to take it up to the thing.
Yeah.
Is your hair going to... Oh, you got Elvis hair. That's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm bringing the hat, and Gene's going to tell you why there's 3 little puppies on there.
Oh yeah, yep, for sure. So we were told. I was told that they are big dog lovers, and they love dogs. They love beer, and they named a brewery after their dogs. You know, it's kind of like paying homage to Tennessee, which is their home state. So the Try Dog, the Try is the logo from the Tennessee state flag. So if you look at the Tennessee state flag, it has 3 stars. So it's the Tri-Star. And then, you know, they love dogs, so they took the Tri-Star logo from the Tennessee state flag, and they love dogs, and they came up with Try Dog.
I wonder if that's their actual dogs on the logo.
I would say it is.
That's pretty cool. They need names. We need the names of your dogs.
Yeah,
So put that in the comment section. Hopefully you all will see this. But yeah, we need the names of the dogs.
Yeah,
I'm a big dog fan.
give us a shout out about the dogs. You know, again,
Groundhogs, raccoons.
Try Dog Brewing,
Possums.
Dennis and Jed, you guys knocked this out of the park. I hope everybody saw the little clip I did on Instagram when I was at the Sevierville Brew Street.
Yeah.
You know, I gave the Try Dog a shout out because it was by far.
Yeah, Gene's been talking about this for like a week.
Yeah,
He loved this stuff.
By far.
He wouldn't let me taste it till today.
That's right. You know, we didn't get a chance to. We were together last week, but we didn't get together and do a podcast because you and I took a little trip.
We did, and we'll talk about that on our next thing.
Yep.
Oh, and I do want to have a special one day for tasting, and that is, and we talked about this before. I want you to teach me about beer.
Okay.
And I think it would be really cool if we had like the typical end all be all, you know, ale and pilsner and goza and whatever, just so that, because I really don't know the difference. I mean, I hear Gene talk about, you know, I know a goza and a sour just because I like those, but I hear about the other terms like stouts and pilsners and lagers and ales, and it's like I have no clue.
Yeah.
So
well, that'd be a great episode.
I think it would be cool. It wouldn't be much about fishing, but
I think with taking ale aside of pilsner and just kind of let you like, hey, you'll taste the difference.
Okay.
And that way you can kind of see what that is. But
I think that'd be a great thing that we could do. Maybe we could do that in the next 2 or 3.
Yeah, for sure. I think you will be out of town next week.
I'm going out of town next week, so hopefully I can do a couple of Instagram posts from that.
Do that. You'll be heading out.
I'll be leaving Wednesday.
All right.
We got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday.
Come back Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So we're going to take.
If I don't get eaten by a bear, bit by a rattlesnake, or fall off the motorcycle down into a gorge.
But yeah, we'll take. We'll do some clips. I'm going to put some clips on our YouTube channel. You'll do some on Instagram, and I'll throw those clips on Instagram as well.
Cool.
Just kind of keep our fans and people.
That's
we're still here.
Cool to say we have fans.
I know, isn't it awesome?
Love you, Mom.
But
we have
thanks, Mom.
Fans. Yeah, both of our moms. Yeah. See, Mom, look, we're at the same level. Yeah.
So this is
very good.
very, very good.
Very, very good. Good job, Try Dog, and real cool. Good job on your logo and your name. That's
We're going to probably
really cool.
Let's see. It may be 2 or 3 weeks, but we might maybe take a trip to Try Dog.
Where is Harriman? How far away is that?
It's probably about 30 minutes past Knoxville.
Oh, that's
something
not
like
bad.
that.
We can do that.
I think.
Problem is,
somewhere around Knoxville.
here's the problem. Usually when we do that, they give us free beer, and we accept, and then we decide to spend the night.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing for everyone.
Yeah, and if everybody knows our hotel.
Yeah, our hotel
picking,
fiasco.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But Try Dog, thank you guys.
Try Dog, thank
Appreciate
you.
It.
Shout out to Try Dog. Shout out to Gino, and thank you for including me in this craziness.
Yeah, man.
I shout out to all the people who listen. It's just so cool to hear people. We're getting to the point now where I've actually heard people comment. They come in and Jim, if you watch this, he had what I thought was a great comment. He said, I watch that stuff, and he said, I don't learn a dag blasted thing. He said, but I do come away entertained. And so I was thinking, well, that's awesome. So thanks for watching, man.
Yeah.
And anybody else who watches and gets a little entertainment, tell your friends and tell them to. Yeah, we need subscribers because I want to get up there to where we can do live broadcasts. Because
I think we can.
that would. The reason I want to do that is because Gene cuts out and edits all of my good stuff out.
No, I don't. Not everything. It's just some stuff that's not appropriate for casting.
Well, yeah, okay. But
yeah.
if we were live casting, he couldn't do that.
That's true. Well, I think we can on YouTube. So maybe the next event that we go somewhere, I think we do a live. But
Try Dog, send more beer.
Send more
or
beer.
Seltzer, whatever this is. Oh, we should have said seltzer review because
Yeah.
this isn't a beer.
That's
Can you
true.
edit that in?
Yeah.
Nice.
So
We'll look like Chinese people talking.
I want to say thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yay.
Till next time. But I want to say this on a kind of a sad note. If anybody's out there that's a NASCAR fan, we found out that Kyle Busch passed away today. He was I'm not sure the whole details, but we just want to kind of give our thoughts and prayers to his family, his wife, and his kids especially. His whole family, the whole NASCAR family.
NASCAR's gotten hit a couple of times this year, and that's harsh.
That's tough. He was a loudmouth that kept whole NASCAR fans entertained. You kind of either rooted for him or against him, but he was there and
he did good here, didn't he?
He did. He
did real good at
he
Bristol.
did well at
and,
Bristol, but
and had a good career. So yeah, good on him.
I think someday he'll be in the Hall of Fame. But our thoughts, everything goes out to him.
Condolences
his family.
to all his friends and family and fans out there.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Crack a cold one and tee it high. Lines in the water.